in order for us to make a request from our front end to our back end, we have to make sure that the back end is up and running. So make sure that this is up and running. So I've just started the back end. There we go, up and running. And in here, so if I reload this, we should get the same array with two objects. Now, if I collapse this, and inside of app.js, what we're going to do is the following. We're going to say import, and then we want to get the get, and then all students, and that comes from dot, so dot / and then client, which is this one here, and basically it lives on the same root directory, right? So that's why we are saying, so in here we are saying dot and then client. And now we can just use this get all students. So here what I'm going to do is the following. For now, inside of this function, so just before the return, I'm going to say, so here I'm going to say get and then all students, and then dot, and then and then here we should get the data or the students. So I'm going to say data, and then this will be an arrow function, and then I'm going to say console dot and then log, just like this for now. For now, just like this. Or in fact, we could just remove all of this and then say console.log. Now, what I want you to see is the following. So I'm going to save this. And also we have to make sure that if I open up the terminal, that the front end is up and running. So npm start. There we go. And right here, I'm going to inspect. So right click and then inspect, and then go to console. And in here, we actually get an error, and it says that this request has been blocked by CORS. So basically CORS is a mechanism. So here, let me open up the documentation for CORS on Mozilla. So here, so this is basically a mechanism that indicates whether other origins than its own from which the browser should permit loading resources. So currently, so basically you can read more about it, but essentially the front end is running in a different origin and the back end is running on a different origin. And basically the back end is actually saying, no, you are not allowed to perform HTTP requests because we haven't told you to do so. So what I would say is go ahead and read this page. It's really interesting. And also you should really understand what is going on behind the scenes. But what we're going to do is to fix this issue is if I open up IntelliJ, and here I'm going to stop the server for now. So Control C, and then here collapse that and open up the project tab, and then open up the package.json. And here we're going to have, so right here, we're going to have a proxy. So proxy, and the proxy will point to http column / localhost, and then column, and then 8080. Now open up the client.js, and here we can remove all of this. There we go, just like that. And this now will ensure that whenever we make the request, it will proxy through the request and allowing the front-end origin to talk to the back-end. So let's open up the terminal and let's say npm start. So the reason why this wouldn't work with live reload is because we are changing the config. So here, and the config is the package.json. So let's start. And now check this out. So you can see that this time, no errors. And right here, you can see that we have this JSON object. And basically we have status 200, and we have the blob, and basically the JSON, or actually we're not doing anything with the JSONs, right? But we can see that the request did work. So if I go back in here and then collapse this, open up app.js, and I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to name this as res for response. And I'm going to say res dot and then JSON. So this is what you saw here. So we have so basically here, so JSON is a function. So we're going to invoke that function, and this returns a promise. And then I'm going to say then, and now I can say console dot and then log, just like that. Now, if I save this, go back to the front end while this is reloading, and there we go. So now you can see that we have our data in here. So this is really nice. So now that we have our data, next, let's go ahead and learn how to use the use effect as well as the use state so that we can store this state within our React component and then display all of this information in a nice component that Andy has to provide.